We all have secrets, whispered fears and desires tucked away in the hidden corners of our hearts. Sharing these vulnerabilities can be a powerful act of connection, forging bonds and fostering understanding. But while openness and honesty are fundamental to healthy relationships, some things are best left unsaid. In this video, we'll delve into 7 of these delicate topics. 7 treasures meant to be held close, for revealing them too hastily can lead to misunderstanding, judgment, and even harm. This isn't about shrouding yourself in secrecy, but rather about cultivating discernment, choosing wisely whom to share your inner jewels with, and navigating the landscape of human interaction with both courage and care. 1. Deepest fears. Sharing your deepest fears can leave you vulnerable, and others may use this knowledge to manipulate or harm you. It's important to be cautious about whom you confide in and to focus on building trust before revealing such personal vulnerabilities. Buddhism, the ancient wisdom path, offers a gentle hand in navigating this delicate terrain. It reminds us that fear, though uncomfortable, is a natural part of the human experience. We all face uncertainties, doubts, and worries. But by keeping them locked away, we allow them to fester in the darkness, morphing into monsters that haunt us from within. Imagine a dark room, filled with unseen shapes and muffled sounds. Fear keeps us at the doorway, paralyzed by the unknown. But what if instead we lit a small lamp and ventured inside? As we shine the light, the shadows dance and recede, revealing their true forms, perhaps just piles of clothes or forgotten toys. Fear, in the light of awareness, loses its power to terrify. Sharing our fears can be like lighting that lamp. We choose trusted confidants, people who hold our vulnerabilities with respect and understanding. Through their eyes, we see our fears reflected not as monstrous shadows, but as understandable anxieties. This shared understanding can be a powerful balm, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. But how do we know who to trust with such precious secrets? Buddhism points us towards the path of metta, a practice of loving kindness. Metta teaches us to cultivate compassion not just for others, but also for ourselves. As we learn to accept our own imperfections and anxieties with gentleness, we develop a radar for those who resonate with this same kindness. These are the ones who will listen without judgment, offering support and understanding instead of manipulation. Sharing our fears can also be an act of vulnerability, a quality that Buddhism holds in high regard. By showing our true selves, even the parts we deem flawed, we open ourselves to deeper connections and genuine intimacy. In a world often focused on presenting perfect facades, vulnerability becomes a bridge, a reminder that we are all human, all struggling with our own shadows. Of course, there's a difference between reckless disclosure and mindful sharing. Buddhism emphasizes prajna, the wisdom gleaned from careful reflection. Before sharing our deepest fears, we take time to understand their source and nature. We ask ourselves, what purpose does sharing this fear serve? Will it lead to growth or simply perpetuate suffering? By choosing our words with intention, we ensure that our vulnerability becomes a tool for healing, not a weapon for self-harm. Ultimately, facing our fears, though challenging, is a path towards liberation. Buddhism teaches us that true freedom lies not in avoiding fear, but in understanding its roots and learning to live with it in a healthy way. By shining the light of awareness on our anxieties, we take away their power, transforming them into stepping stones on our journey towards inner peace. Remember, the chamber of fears is not a permanent prison, but a temporary shelter. With the guidance of Buddhism, we can learn to dance with our shadows, transforming them into allies on the path to enlightenment. So, take a deep breath, light a lamp of courage, and step into the darkness. You might just find that the whispers you feared hold valuable lessons, waiting to be heard and understood. With every step of self-discovery, you move closer to a life filled with greater understanding, compassion, and freedom from fear. 2. Past wrongdoings. Disclosing past wrongdoings might lead to judgment, misunderstanding, or even legal consequences. It's better to seek self-forgiveness and learn from your mistakes than to burden others with your guilt. Let's imagine a garden, once vibrant and thriving, now overgrown with thorny vines of regret. The mistakes we made become tangled branches, blocking out the sun and suffocating the flowers of our potential. To move forward, we need to clear the weeds, not by hiding them deeper, but by facing them with open eyes and a kind heart. Buddhism teaches us about karma, the principle of cause and effect. Our actions, whether intentional or not, have consequences that ripple through our lives and the lives of others. But karma, unlike a harsh judge, is not about punishment, but about learning and growth. Every wrongdoings, every misstep becomes a teacher, offering valuable lessons about our choices and their impact. However, clinging to guilt is like choosing to stay in the overgrown garden, allowing the thorns to pierce our skin and choke our spirit. Instead, Buddhism encourages metta, the practice of loving kindness. We start by extending this compassion to ourselves, acknowledging our mistakes without judgment. We see ourselves as students on a journey, not failures condemned to a life of regret. Self-forgiveness, in the Buddhist perspective, doesn't mean condoning our actions. It's about acknowledging our responsibility, understanding the root causes, and choosing to learn and grow from them. Just as a gardener removes weeds to nurture new life, we clear the weeds of guilt to make space for self-compassion and positive change. But what about the hurt we caused others? Sharing our wrongdoings can feel like reopening old wounds, both for ourselves and for those we impacted. Here, Buddhism emphasizes karuna, the boundless compassion that extends beyond ourselves. If our actions truly harmed someone, seeking their forgiveness may be the right path. But remember, forgiveness is their journey, not ours to demand. However, sometimes seeking forgiveness isn't possible or appropriate. In these cases, Buddhism reminds us of sati, mindful awareness. We focus on the present moment, learning from the past without allowing it to define our future. We dedicate ourselves to living ethically in the now, ensuring our actions don't cause further harm to ourselves or others. This doesn't mean burying the past under a layer of denial. Instead, we carry the lessons learned with us, like precious stones polished from rough beginnings. These experiences, though painful, can become sources of wisdom and empathy, allowing us to connect with others who have walked similar paths. Ultimately, navigating the shadows of past wrongdoings is a personal journey. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Buddhism offers a map and tools, but the path we choose is ours alone. With each step of self-forgiveness, mindful awareness, and karuna, we clear the weeds of regret, allowing the garden of our lives to bloom anew. Remember, the past, though it may cast shadows, doesn't have to define your future. With the light of Buddhist principles, you can transform the whispers of regret into a melody of self-compassion and growth. Take a deep breath, step into the garden, and begin the work of forgiveness. You might just find that the thorns, once painful, become reminders of your resilience and the lessons learned on your path to inner peace. 3. Profound desires. Revealing your most profound desires can make you susceptible to exploitation or influence. It's important to guard your dreams until you are certain that those you share them with have your best interests at heart. Buddhism, with its gentle wisdom, offers a path for nurturing these seeds of longing without exposing them to the harsh winds of exploitation. Let's imagine our desires as delicate flowers, each one unique and bursting with potential. To bloom into their full beauty, they need sunlight, water, and protection from the elements. Sunlight comes in the form of prajna, the light of wisdom. Before sharing our deepest desires, we must first understand their source and nature. We ask ourselves, do these desires align with my values? Do they serve the greater good or only my own ego? By reflecting with mindful awareness, we ensure that our desires are not weeds that will choke the garden of our lives. Water for these seeds of longing comes in the form of metta, the boundless compassion that flows from the depths of our being. We cultivate self-compassion, understanding that our desires are simply part of the human experience. We don't judge ourselves for our dreams, but instead nurture them with kindness and acceptance. Protection from the elements comes in the form of sila, ethical conduct. We choose to share our desires only with those who have earned our trust and respect. We discern those who hold space with open hearts and understanding, those who will offer support and guidance, not manipulation or exploitation. Buddhism teaches us that true friends are like fertile soil, nourishing our dreams without demanding anything in return. They provide the space for our desires to take root and grow, offering gentle encouragement without trying to control or dictate the direction of our growth. However, keeping our desires buried too deeply can also stunt their potential. Just as a flower needs air to breathe, our dreams require some sunlight to flourish. Sharing them with the right people at the right time can be like sharing a sip of water with a fellow traveler on a long journey. It strengthens the bond, deepens understanding, and provides the encouragement to keep moving forward. Of course, sharing our deepest desires always carries an element of risk. But remember, even the most resilient flower can be damaged by a storm. We must be cautious, yes, but not to the point of letting our dreams wither in the shade of fear. Instead, we learn to navigate the risks with wisdom and discernment, trusting our own intuition and the integrity of those we choose to share with. Ultimately, nurturing our profound desires is a lifelong journey. It requires careful tending, self-compassion, and the wisdom to choose when to open our hearts and share our seeds of longing. By following the gentle guidance of Buddhism, we can transform our desires from fragile whispers into vibrant blossoms, adding beauty and meaning to the garden of our lives. Remember, your deepest desires are sacred. They are the compass that guides you towards your true north. Guard them with care, nurture them with wisdom and compassion, and share them with those who will cherish their unique fragrance. As you blossom into your full potential, you inspire others to do the same, creating a world where dreams are not exploited, but celebrated and nurtured, one heart at a time. With each step of self-discovery, you move closer to a life filled with greater joy, purpose, and the fulfillment of your heartfelt dreams. 4. Regrets. Discussing your regrets can invite unnecessary judgment or pity from others. Instead, use your regrets as opportunities for personal growth and improvement. Imagine our regrets as thorns, sharp and painful reminders of past missteps. They can twist and tangle, choking the present moment with the shadows of should-haves and could-haves. But clinging to these thorns only deepens the wounds. Instead, Buddhism teaches us to practice sati, the mindful awareness that allows us to observe our regrets without judgment. With open eyes and a gentle heart, we examine the thorns, understanding that they are not punishments but lessons. Each regret, however painful, holds a seed of wisdom waiting to be nurtured. We ask ourselves, what did this experience teach me? What did I learn about myself and my values? By gleaning these lessons, we transform the thorns into fertile soil, ready to nourish the seeds of our future. But regret often comes with the heavy cloak of self-judgment. We may feel like failures, unworthy of forgiveness or compassion. However, Buddhism teaches us about metta, the boundless loving kindness that extends even to ourselves. We learn to offer ourselves the same gentleness and understanding we would offer a dear friend. We see our regrets not as permanent flaws, but as temporary stumbles on the path of growth. Sharing our regrets can be tempting, a way to seek solace in shared experiences. However, Buddhism emphasizes discernment. We choose our confidants carefully, seeking those who offer safe spaces without judgment or pity. These are the companions who listen with open hearts and offer support, not validation of our self-blame. Instead of dwelling on the past, we focus on the present moment, the fertile ground where our seeds of growth can take root. With prajna, the wisdom of mindful action, we choose new paths, guided by the lessons learned from our regrets. We set intentions for the future, not with guilt as our compass, but with the gentle guidance of self-compassion and newfound understanding. This doesn't mean denying our regrets. They are a part of our story, the threads that weave the tapestry of our lives. But by focusing on the seeds of growth within them, we transform them from prickly thorns into valuable tools. We learn to forgive ourselves not because we condone our actions, but because we choose to move forward with open hearts and renewed purpose. Ultimately, the path through the garden of regrets is unique to each of us. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Buddhism offers a map and tools, but the pace and direction of our journey are ours alone. With each step of mindful awareness, self-compassion, and intentional action, we nurture the seeds of growth within our regrets, transforming them into the flowers of wisdom and resilience. Remember, your regrets are not burdens to carry, but seeds of potential waiting to be nourished. Embrace them with mindful awareness, learn from their lessons, and choose to grow. As you cultivate the fertile soil of self-compassion and intentional action, you'll witness the thorns of regret blossom into the vibrant flowers of your future. 5. Anxieties about the future. Sharing your anxieties about the future can create unnecessary stress for both you and those you confide in. It's advisable to manage your anxieties privately or seek guidance from trusted sources when needed. Imagine a garden bathed in the warm glow of the present moment. But at the edges where sunlight struggles to reach, tiny seeds of anxiety begin to sprout. They whisper of what-ifs and maybes, casting long shadows that threaten to choke the flowers of hope and joy. To keep our garden flourishing, we need to learn to manage these anxieties with wisdom and care. Buddhism teaches us about the boundless compassion that extends even to ourselves. When anxieties arise, we don't judge or criticize them. Instead, we acknowledge them with kindness, like a gardener gently tending to delicate seedlings. We understand that anxieties are a natural part of the human experience, not flaws or weaknesses to be ashamed of. By practicing sati, mindful awareness, we shine a gentle light on these seeds of uncertainty. We examine their roots, understanding what triggers them and how they affect our thoughts and emotions. This self-awareness helps us distinguish between legitimate concerns and mere mental chatter. We learn to let go of worries that are beyond our control, focusing instead on the present moment where we have the power to act and grow. However, sometimes our anxieties can feel like tangled vines, suffocating us with their grip. In these moments, Buddhism encourages us to seek kalyanamitta, good friendship. We confide in trusted friends, not to burden them with our anxieties, but to share the weight and gain their gentle support and perspective. These friends are like sunbeams in the garden, offering warmth, understanding, and guidance without judgment or blame. But beware. Sharing anxieties indiscriminately can be like scattering seeds in the wind, risking them taking root in others' minds and causing them undue stress. We choose our friends carefully, seeking those who can offer a listening ear and a compassionate heart, not a chorus of shared worries. Instead of letting our anxieties define our present moment, Buddhism encourages us to cultivate the boundless compassion that extends to all beings. We remind ourselves that everyone faces their own uncertainties, and our worries don't exist in a vacuum. By offering our own understanding and support to others, we create a safe space where anxieties can be shared and eased, not amplified. Ultimately, navigating the garden of anxieties is a lifelong journey. There will be days when shadows stretch long and doubts whisper loud. We should learn to let go of what we cannot control, focus on what we can, and trust in the ever-unfolding dance of life. Remember, your anxieties are not enemies to be conquered, but seeds to be understood and managed. With gentle awareness, compassionate support, and the wisdom of Buddhism, you can transform the whispers of what if into the quiet murmur of acceptance and the gentle bloom of hope, filling your garden with the vibrant colors of a life lived in the present moment, free from the shadows of future anxieties. With each step of self-discovery, you move closer to a life filled with greater understanding, acceptance, and the quiet joy of blooming in the present moment. 6. Moments of weakness. Talking about moments of weakness may lead others to doubt your strength or reliability. Instead, work on self-improvement and personal growth privately, seeking help when necessary. We all have them, those moments when the mask of strength cracks and reveals the tender flesh beneath. These so-called moments of weakness, while often hidden behind carefully constructed facades, are an undeniable part of the human tapestry. But what if, instead of fearing these moments, we saw them as opportunities for growth and transformation? Buddhism, the ancient wisdom path, offers a unique perspective on vulnerability. It reminds us that true strength doesn't lie in pretending to be invincible, but in embracing our humanness, flaws and all. Imagine a mighty oak tree, its branches reaching towards the sky, a symbol of unwavering strength. But even the strongest oak can bend in the wind, its leaves whispering secrets of vulnerability in the rustling breeze. These whispers, though sometimes uncomfortable, are not signs of weakness, but reminders of the tree's resilience. Sharing these moments of vulnerability, however, can be a tricky dance. We fear judgment, misunderstanding, and the erosion of trust. Yet Buddhism encourages metta, the practice of boundless loving kindness. We learn to extend this compassion to ourselves first, accepting our vulnerabilities without shame or self-criticism. Just as we wouldn't judge a wounded bird for its broken wing, We learn to see our own moments of weakness as temporary setbacks, not permanent flaws. But self-compassion doesn't mean condoning our weaknesses or living in a state of perpetual fragility. Buddhism also emphasizes ethical conduct. We strive to learn from our mistakes, to understand the triggers that lead us into moments of weakness, and to make choices that align with our values. This self-improvement journey, though often private, can be immensely empowering. Seeking help when necessary is not a sign of weakness, but a mark of wisdom. Buddhism teaches the importance of cultivating good friendships. We surround ourselves with trusted confidants, not to broadcast our vulnerabilities to the world, but to find safe spaces where we can share our struggles without judgment. These friends, like sturdy branches of a neighboring tree, offer support and guidance, helping us weather the storms without breaking. However, indiscriminately sharing our vulnerabilities can be like scattering seeds in the wind. Some may fall on fertile ground and offer nourishment, while others may land in barren soil, offering no benefit and potentially attracting harm. We choose our confidants carefully, seeking those who possess the boundless compassion that understands and accepts our humanness without judgment. Ultimately, embracing our moments of weakness is a journey of self-discovery. It's about shedding the mask of perfection and stepping into the sunlight of authenticity. With each stumble and fall, we learn valuable lessons about ourselves and the world around us. These lessons, like the rings on a tree trunk, become markers of our growth, testament to our resilience and the strength that lies not in hiding our vulnerabilities, but in facing them with courage and compassion. Remember, your moments of weakness are not shadows to be hidden, but threads woven into the tapestry of your being. By embracing them with self-compassion, seeking guidance when needed, and cultivating safe spaces of vulnerability, you transform these moments into seeds of strength and growth. As you bloom into your authentic self, you inspire others to do the same, creating a world where vulnerability is not a burden, but a shared human experience, paving the way for deeper connection and authentic living. 7. True self. Disclosing your true self, including your most intimate thoughts and feelings, should be done selectively with those you deeply trust. Revealing this too soon can lead to misinterpretation or emotional harm. Within each of us lies a shimmering treasure, a hidden chamber where our truest selves reside. This inner sanctum holds our deepest thoughts, emotions, and vulnerabilities, the raw jewels that make us unique and precious. But like any precious gem, this true self needs careful tending and discernment before it can be safely revealed. Buddhism, the ancient wisdom path, offers a gentle map to navigate this delicate process. It reminds us that sharing our true selves, though an act of immense vulnerability, can also be a path to deeper connections and genuine understanding. But uncovering this inner treasure requires both courage and wisdom, for revealing it too soon can be akin to casting a priceless pearl before a hungry flock. Imagine a lotus flower, its delicate petals cradling a luminous pearl. This flower represents the true self, guarded by layers of protective leaves. Each layer depicts a facet of our personality, the masks we wear in the world. These masks serve a purpose, protecting us from judgment and safeguarding our vulnerabilities. However, keeping the lotus fully closed can stifle its growth and prevent it from sharing its beauty with the world. Sharing our true selves, like opening the lotus flower, allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering genuine bonds and creating a space for authentic exchange. But revealing the pearl too soon, before trust has blossomed, can be detrimental. Just as a pearl thrown on the ground might be trampled or lost, sharing our deepest thoughts and feelings with the wrong people can lead to misunderstanding, manipulation, or even emotional harm. Buddhism, in its infinite wisdom, offers several guiding principles to navigate this delicate dance of self-disclosure. 1. Cultivating self-compassion. Before sharing our inner treasures, we must first learn to embrace them ourselves. Buddhism emphasizes the boundless loving kindness that extends to ourselves as much as to others. We learn to see our true selves, flaws and all, with understanding and acceptance. Just as a lotus flower accepts its imperfections and muddied waters, we learn to embrace our vulnerabilities without judgment, recognizing them as natural parts of our human experience. 2. wisdom through mindful awareness. Discernment is key when it comes to revealing our true selves. Buddhism teaches the wisdom of mindful awareness. We carefully consider who we are sharing our vulnerabilities with, seeking those who have earned our trust and respect. We observe their actions, listen to their words, and intuitively sense their capacity for understanding and compassion. 3. Ethical conduct and trust. Trust is the fertile soil in which our true selves can flourish. Buddhism emphasizes ethical conduct. We choose to share our vulnerabilities only with those who have consistently demonstrated honesty, integrity, and respect. These are the friends who hold our secrets with gentle hands, offering support without judgment and guidance without manipulation. 4. Cultivating good friendships. Surrounding ourselves with trustworthy confidants is crucial for navigating the terrain of self-disclosure. Buddhism encourages nurturing good friendships. These friends serve as safe harbors, offering a space for us to share our true selves without fear of betrayal or judgment. They become the sunlight that nourishes our lotus flowers, allowing our authentic selves to bloom. 5. Extending compassion and understanding. Sharing our true selves is not just about revealing our vulnerabilities, it's also about offering understanding and compassion to others. Buddhism teaches the boundless compassion that extends to all beings. By sharing our struggles and experiences, we create a space for others to feel seen and heard, fostering deeper connections and building a community of mutual support. Ultimately, revealing your true self is a lifelong journey, a dance of vulnerability and trust. There will be stumbles and missteps, moments where the lotus flower seems hesitant to open. But with the gentle guidance of Buddhist principles, you can learn to navigate this delicate dance with courage and compassion, transforming your vulnerabilities into bridges of connection and your true self, into a beacon of light that illuminates the path for others. Remember, your true self is not a burden to hide, but a treasure to share. By cultivating self-compassion, choosing wisely who you trust, and extending compassion to others, you can unveil your inner pearl, one petal at a time, creating a world where vulnerability is embraced, trust is cherished, and authentic connections bloom like lotus flowers in the sunlight of understanding.